All right, North Florida High School football fans, welcome to another edition of the Overtime High School Scoreboard Football Show, presented by Four Quarters Online. Man, it's been a great Friday night of football. Man, a lot of district teams that are in the area. We're wrapping things up, and a lot of teams. Ironically, the way the rankings have worked out, a lot of teams that look like they have a good little lead have started to run into some, especially with the rankings. The rankings are kind of confusing a little bit because a lot of teams that look like they should have secured spots may still have some work left to do, and some teams that may have taken a setback or a loss are still in good shape as far as going into the last 2 weeks of the regular season. But this is week number 9. Let's go ahead and get into it. The week number 9 scores. Man, on Thursday night, Sneeds took care of business against Lighthouse Christian. A big win for the Pirates as they win 8-6. But then let's go ahead and get into some Friday night football. Bradford comes into town. The Tornadoes blow past the Leon Lions 43-7. Tough loss for the Lions. Still looking for that first dub on the year. Wewa Hitchka and FAMU, man, they battled it out. The Baby Rattlers actually led in this game at one point, Coach. We were watching intently to see if FAMU pull it out, but man, just ran out of gas. And just one of those things where just for FAMU High, this is a young team still looking to kind of put the glue together. But man, the future looks bright. They got some playmakers over there, and if they could continue to develop and get some more experience, I think there have been some bright spots. And you never know. Sometimes teams turn a corner after going through some brutal seasons like this. But man, FAMU High falls in this one against Wewa. The Gators pick up the win 40-30 over the Baby Rattlers. Man, this one we were at live. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, you can head on over to Four Quarters Online and watch this one or rewatch it. But it was all Marauders all the time as the McClay football team wins the Battle of Meridian Road, shutting out NFC 41-zip. Man, great game by Grant and Bashir's. Marauder defense was a little bit banged up, had some key starters out. But man, a lot of underclassmen stepped up in that game and got the dub for the Marauders. Moving on around the area, Liberty County gets, and if I'm reading that right, that means the Bulldogs got the first dub on the season. Big win over Red Hot Jefferson County. The Dogs secured the W 20-13.
Mark, they came back. It was a close game, and it looked like at the end they just took over, and they came out with a victory. I was surprised, as you know. I was assuming that the Jefferson County Tigers would continue to win, but Liberty, I guess last week gave them a lot of confidence where they hung in there with Cottondale, and they took it over to this week, and they played a great game.
Yeah, it's been, you look at Liberty, and they've been so close in a lot of good games. And then one of the things about this team in particular is that I don't think Liberty has played a team with the losing record. Wow. So, that's saying something in my opinion, but a lot of it may just have to do with just the level of competition that you play can either help or hurt you. And Coach, you would know this. Just by putting together the schedule, sometimes you may think you may have a good, kind of mix of opponents, and then sometimes there are teams that come out of absolutely nowhere.
It looked like it, and because Jeffco was one of those surprise teams also, and I was surprised they lost tonight. They've been rolling, and I guess Coach Powell will just have to regroup and get better, because sometimes a team that's not used to winning get on a little roll, start feeling themselves, and don't play their A game. And they came out on the short end of the stick today.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot. Just it's always nice to see that it's definitely a relief for the coaching staff to finally get the monkey off your back and to get the first win on the season. So congrats to Liberty County as they are able to secure the first dub. Jefferson County in great shape, though. Still got a lot of football left to be played, and everything is still in front of them. They've had an amazing season thus far, even though they fall in this one to Liberty County 20-13. Lafayette getting a big win over Trenton as they blank the Tigers 47-0. So congrats to Coach Edwards and his bunch down there in Lafayette. Child's a big winner over North Bay Haven. Congrats to the seniors at Child's High School on closing out a big win on senior night, 42-0. That's how you want to win on senior night, pitching the shutout. Godby a big winner over Fort Walton Beach, 33-12. Cougars still rolling, looking good, heading towards the last two games of the regular season. Dixie County a big winner over Hamilton County, 39-20. And this is one of those where now we're into the thick of things in the rural, and you're really gonna have to start paying attention to these rankings, because as we get closer to playoff time, remember we're split here in the rural. We got A and B, so a lot of the way of, and we'll have to take some time and kind of explain it, because it's a little confusing.
I was kind of wondering if you knew how this system works. They changed it over from last year. Didn't 2 years ago it was different. You got to really get your calculator out to figure out what's going on.
And then and that's one where we really have to kind of take a look at where, in my opinion, some of the things that and I was trying to see if I can pull it up here, but there is a little bit of a breakdown of where you can kind of see how the system works. But we'll take some time on the Extra Point podcast, and we'll talk about a little bit more in depth. But there's just a really at this point a kind of a knowledge share that needs to be had. You almost got to take a little bit of a class to figure out how this system works. But it's really kind of interesting how it's put together, and I'm gonna leave it like that. We'll get Juke back on, and he can rant a little bit more.
He's a numbers guy. Let him do that. So he might still be tired from doing that game.
Yeah, we heard the McClay Marauder fight song quite a bit over the past couple of games. Some more scores from around the area. Get the screen pulled back up.
Wakulla South Wakulla over South Walton, 37-7.
Yeah, War Eagles bounced back in a real big way. That was a real big win for them, especially being in the position that they were in, coming off of a tough loss. So congrats to the War Eagles getting back on the winning side of things. South Walton, man, the Road Warriors, this has been a rough season for South Walton this year. Playing away from home 8 times is not fun, but man, I know they're going to be looking forward to that new stadium being built next year.
Wow. And they probably, got 8 home games, 7 home games next year. So people going to pay for this, them been on the road. They should have a lot of fun at home, and they're going to get a great gate. Because they're a very consistent football team. They are winners all the time, and they play a tough schedule. I'm looking for. They won't worry about this season. I think they knew what was going to happen, but next year, don't roll up in the new stadium. They're going to be a very, very dangerous football team.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into football program, and facilities is always has to be a top priority. So they're getting it done now, but. It's just not things just don't stack up well when you have to be on the road for so many weeks in a row.
Right.
Let's go ahead and let me see if I can pull this back up. Bay gets it done.
No. Bay lost.
Yeah. No, excuse me. Yeah, Bay was getting. Oh no, they came out in the losing end on this one. Yeah.
That's
they were
what
leading Walton 34-17, but they were leading at one point early in the game, but Walton came storming back. So Bay falls in this one. And let me make sure I double check. We want to make sure we get this right.
I got that off. If it's wrong, I got it off of score
Yeah,
score
that's
streak.
41. Yeah, so Walton Braves pulled this one out 41-31 after Bay was leading in the first half. So Braves come storming back and they take that one. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that there's still a little bit of I think we got most of the scores in. I think we do
Yeah,
got most of the scores in. So
yeah, I think so.
um, so let's go ahead and keep it moving. Moving on around the area, Port St. Joe jumped all over Franklin County, and for the Tiger Sharks, I think this was a must win for them to have a shot at being able to be a postseason team. And this one was a resounding win for the Tiger Sharks at home, 42-12. They take it over Franklin County, and Seahawks, yeah, definitely one of the better teams in the area, having a great season, but man, sometimes you go into Port St. Joe, and that's one of those places where you got to give the Tiger Sharks kind of that credit. They have one of the toughest places to play in the rural division. Um, just something about playing football on the beach, man. It can go for you, or definitely can go against you.
Well,
Meanwhile, going on around the area, this one was one that was a nail biter, but Bozeman pulls it out over Rutherford,
yeah,
20-19,
that was an
and that one
interesting
was.
game. Bozeman came back with seconds to go in the game. Uh, Rutherford was leading, kind of led most of the game, and then Bosa made. I'm not sure the player's name, but they threw a big pass with like 34 seconds to go in the game, and put them in scoring position, and then they threw one more play, and they scored a touchdown and took a 1 point lead, which was it was a heartbreaker for Rutherford. They played a hell of a game and ended up got the short end of the stick again.
Yeah, I did. I knew this one was going to be close, but hats off to Rutherford. I did. I picked the Rams going into this. I knew that I knew that Bozeman was going to come out slinging it. So, uh, congrats to the Bucks, man. They pulled it out. Um, and let's go ahead and get to some other games from around the area. This is Mosley taking on Arnold as the Dolphins, man, are steamrolling through this year's schedule. Dolphins remain undefeated on the year with a great win over crosstown rival Arnold. And for the Dolphins, this is one of those where uh, they look like, and I know we talked about them being a Final Four team and everything, but they look like a legitimate state title contender, and especially it's not going to get easier, especially as we get into the playoffs. This is one of the most complete teams I've seen in the area. They get it done in all phases of the game. They dominate the ground game. Their offensive line looks absolutely
Dominant.
fine. They look like a team that you don't want to play, especially now. And I hate to say it, but it's like, man, this team has been. It's like they just get better and better every week. So Dolphins remain undefeated. Let's get some more scores on. We have Bluntstown blanks Northview 38-0, a big win for the Tigers. And I know that for Bluntstown is one of those teams where they definitely have all of their they have all of their aspirations in front of them. Having a little bit of a stumble here in midway in the season, but they've turned it around. I think they picked up win number 5 on the year. So shout out to Coach Wagner and his group picking up a great win and a shutout on senior night. Moving on around the area, man, this one we had our eyes on, but Lincoln taking on Niceville, and man, this one, it looked like Niceville was out in front early, and man, the Trojans came storming back in this game. And they made it a great one. This one was close, but the Eagles ended up taking it. And for Niceville, this is one of those places where I don't know. You got to spot Niceville 3 points just based on the stadium
And
alone.
that's what happened. They got 3. They won by 3. That was a heck of
So
a game because Lincoln looked like they were out of it, and they made it. They made it a game. When I checked back, because I'm watching the boards, I'm watching all these games, and they came back, and I'm thinking it was going to be an easy victory, look like for Niceville, but Lincoln made a big run and made it a tough game on Niceville.
Yeah, my thing has been to take a look at how the Trojans are built and how they're put together. And this defense started stepping up late or in the latter half of the game. The defense started figuring things out and started coming up with some crucial stops that allowed their offense to come back into this game. Just weren't able to pull it out in a tough road environment. So again, Lincoln's definitely going to be able to right the ship moving forward next week. This is one of those tough games where the Trojans have really I think in recent history, if it serves me correctly, this is the kind of thing that happens where this could really set Lincoln's trajectory up to make a great playoff run, because losses like this, they're only used as learning lessons. You get a
Yep.
chance to tweak your team, make sure everybody stays healthy, learn from the mistakes, so that in case you get a chance to run into a team like this again, you'll be ready. So Lincoln still has everything in front of them. Their playoff aspirations are just fine right now, and the Trojans will definitely look to bounce back next week. Some other scores to round out the scoreboard here. We talked about Bluntstown. Osceola remains undefeated on the year, taking down Bell 36-21. Shout out to the Warriors. They pick up a big victory there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I have, or I had something
What?
pulled up. May have rolled past it, but no problem. We'll recap in the Extra Point podcast on Wednesday. Mariana was a big winner over Holmes County. 42-14 was the final out there, and the Bulldogs are another undefeated team in the area. So we got several teams here in our area that are still unbeaten, and that's saying a lot. So a lot of what we're seeing now is just a lot of teams jockeying for position, especially in these playoff rankings, and we'll break that down in the Extra Point podcast too, going on next week. But shout out to the Warriors, got picked up a big win over Bell, 36-21. Vernon picks up a win over Central out of Milton, Florida, 16-9. And then Chipley looks like they are the winner by default by I guess would be we'll have to catch up with Coach Buchanan out there. I think they just scaring teams away. Nobody want to play Chipley for the past couple of weeks. I think they've had a couple of forfeits. So it is what it is. But I think that's most of the scores. Did I miss one here or there? I know we were still looking
I
for a
think you
couple.
hit them up. If not, we can, we'll get a chance to give the score out on the rewind. I guess I got this to go up on Instagram, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that'll do it for overtime for week number 9. The 4 Quarters Online overtime scoreboard show. We'll catch everybody on the Extra Point podcast on Wednesday, where we'll have it all broken down, and we'll make some picks going into week number 10. Couple of weeks left in the regular season.
Let's remind everybody, during the season, about halftime of these games, we do a report. Yours truly will come up and take about 10 to 15 minutes and tell you what's going on around the Big Bend.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think as we get a chance, I want to send some love out there to all the FSU fans.
Why?
Man, it's been rough this season, but I don't know. I'm not sure what
it's
the
tough,
cure
Mark.
is, but yeah, don't do it. Hang in there. Things will get better.
It's tough. It is tough. I watched. I saw some of that game, and FSU might as well just gave the ball to them and kept turning it over, because Duke didn't have it. They didn't have to work that hard. In fact,
No.
it was one of the lowest for yardage, I think, in the NC2A, and I forgot how many years they had on. Duke only had 60-something total yards at halftime, but they were up by double digits. So it was more about what Florida State did than what Duke did. So, man, it's got to be tough. You can't. Your quarterback looked like he was in improvement, but he had three straight turnovers, one a pick six, that turned the game around. They probably would have been in the lead if it had not been for those, because the defense played very well.
Yeah, I got my conspiracy theory hat on.
No,
I think they need
players
to recoup some of that NIL money.
players don't do that. I think that was just if I'm a coach, I couldn't imagine being coach. No, man, he looked like what I gotta do. The look
Deer
on
in
his
headlight.
face.
It's rough,
He's
but
like, man, you driving to take the lead, and your running back fumbles the ball.
and then they had
Uh,
the field goal debacle.
he kicked the ball
It's a
right in the
lot.
back. One of the best kickers in the country. Is it Halloween? Because it looked like Halloween and with on that field tonight. It was weird.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to break this curse, or whatever they need to do. They need to put it back, or whatever they stole. I don't know what it
I
is,
tell
but
you, I tell you what, I'm make you laugh. Miami better hope they don't get all this stuff together at that night when they play next week. And they probably start laughing when I said that, but uh, you don't want them to straighten themselves out because I just can't imagine them staying like this the rest of the season. But the season's
yeah,
almost
I do
over.
think something's got to give. Something's definitely got to give. But yeah, shout out to the Rattlers. Hope they get a lot of sleep tomorrow. Got Jackson State in the morning, but that is the overtime high school football scoreboard show presented by Four Quarters Online. I'm here with my tag team partner, Coach Cofield. We'll catch everybody for the Extra Point podcast. We will have everything broken down from week number 9 and previewing week number 10 on Wednesday night. Hope everybody stays safe. Enjoy your Friday night.